I picked these radios up for work because when you need a radio for 4 people and you don't need people to be twitchy and fidgety, you need something that's going to just work off the shelf. This is by Retevis. Let's see what they put in the box. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the first one. It's a 4-pack, and so I'm going to assume there are 2 in each box. Here we go. It's the Retevis RB48. You see this nice rugged looking case. Let's see. Looking for our charging port. Oh, here we go. On the side, we've got a nice USB-C charging port. Let me see my extension cable here. Locks in nice and tight there. That's good. They've got a nice solid feel to them. Looks like our cradle charger can fit 2 to a pack, so we can either charge it via USB or via the cradle, which is great because these are actually going to be for work. I'm looking to see if they go either direction. They only go one direction. And even our charging base, if you look close, we've got a USB-C port there, which is really handy. We've got the belt clips and lanyards. I will probably put those on for them because we're going to be in an industrial environment. People are going to be up on lifts with them, cameras, etc. Or cameras. That's one of the things we're running cables for, but we're going to be doing a number of things. Real plus here, and thank you, Retevis, for actually giving us USB wall plug and cables. I really, really greatly appreciate that. It seems like everything that comes now that charges via USB, the manufacturers cheapen out and they don't give us a cable or a charging plug because, hey, you got them. You got them with your cell phone. But this is a nice, if you notice, it's a splitting cable here, so you can plug them both individually. Of course, I'll probably also plug just the base into it there. I'm going to turn one of these on and see. We've got a little bit of a charge out of the box. Here we've got, interesting, we've got a push to talk in the middle of the front. And we've got our channel change over here on the left side, it looks like. No, is that? There's a push to talk. We've got a call and an SOS. Now these are actually FRS radios, and so we've got a limited number of channels. Okay, this is locked. This is not locked. Still not getting it to change channels. I may have to explore the manual on this one. Interesting. Okay. We can have it scan. Looks like we've got 22 channels programmed in there. It's going through all of its, some people refer to them differently, like sub-channels or something, where you've got your squelch tones. So you can filter out communications. Like in our situation, we've got a neighboring business that I know uses GMRS radios because I pick them up all the time on one of the frequencies. And you can filter out those by setting your code there. I'll have to look and see how to do it. It should have weather alert. It claims to have weather alert. If you remember recently, I was saying I don't want to buy another radio that doesn't have either of these 2 features. That's the USB-C charging, which is a huge plus. The weather alert, which means that if there is an emergency alert issued, the radio actually makes a sound, goes off, and alerts you to the fact that there's some bad weather heading your way, which is important. It's nice to be able to listen to the weather forecast, but even more important to be able to be notified when there's a problem. And then we've got our little lanyards and gizmos there. And then the other box, I'm assuming, is going to look exactly the same. We'll do it just for fun. The manual, which I'm going to need to reference. And here are our other two radios with another charging base. And we've got another USB-C cable and wall port charger. So, in theory, I should be able to just turn it on and change channels. Okay, this one at least made some sound. Maybe I didn't have it up enough. Yeah, the intuitive just push the up-down button is not working out for me. So I may need to stop and look at the manual. These do have a stamp down here that they're IP67 rated, which I think is dust plus water, and I'm not sure if it may be up to like 1 meter, 1.5 meters. You wouldn't want to subject something like this to rushing water or water under pressure, but if you dropped it in a puddle, it should be fine. It should be sealed well enough for that. I'm really curious to find out how the sound quality is on these. And I'll do another video when I get to find out some of that. And I'll also do a quick start once I have an idea of how to get to the weatherman, if I can get it to do a weather alert, and really just the basics of setting these frequencies. I'm a little perturbed already.
Degrees. Huntsville, partly
Okay.
sunny, 83 degrees.
I just discovered monitoring the weather better. Let me turn him down a little bit. So the call button up here also serves as the weather button. So a long press on that activates a scan for our closest weather broadcaster. That's not the alert function I've been talking about, by the way, but it'll do for at least knowing what's going on weather-wise. A short press gives us that alarm. Let's see, monitor. Scan, I'm assuming I can do a long press to monitor. A short press scans. You see there it's scrolling through. That was a short press on this one. And you can stop the scan the same way. A long press gets you the monitor. Actually, you may need to leave it pressed down to do that. So let me try the same logic for the channel button. Long press does not get me the channel button moving. I'm going to have to refer to the manual and just see. It should be easier than that, I would think, to just go up and down. In some ways, it'd be nice if it's not too easy, so you don't accidentally bump it and change channels and lose your frequency, your conversation with everybody else. But I'll get back with you on that and get another video clip either added to this or another standalone. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon. Take care.